My cheating affair has turned my husband into a robot. My husband and I have been married for 9 years. 3 years ago, right before the pandemic, I had an affair with one of my coworkers. At the time, my husband was working in consulting and was constantly traveling. I was only seeing him about a few days every month, and would go multiple months without seeing him sometimes. Couple that with the fact that I was pregnant at the time, I was already in a terrible state. My coworker convinced me that my husband was cheating on me. She told me that there was no way a man was able to spend that much time away from his wife without looking for the company of other women. I know how pathetic it is that I let her manipulate me like that, but at the end of the day, the fault lies with me. It was my job to protect my marriage, and I was the one who failed. Our daughter was born in early 2020, so I took maternity leave, which means I wasn't seeing my coworker very often anymore. We would still text, but we were drifting apart. Then the lockdowns hit, and suddenly, my husband wasn't traveling very much anymore. Seeing him around the house, caring for our newborn, and just being the wonderful husband he's always been made me feel incredibly regret. I broke down and admitted everything to him. I still remember the way his face just melted. He was smiling at the beginning of the conversation, but by the end, he was just expressionless. He wasn't angry, he didn't cry, he just sat there. He asked me if our daughter was his, and I promised him that it was, since I'd never been with any man besides him. He told me that he wanted a paternity test anyway just to be sure, and I agreed. He then just stood up and went to sleep with our daughter. I knew I had to give him some space, but the whole thing was eating at me. I came to him and told him that I had blocked my affair partner on everything and told her that we could no longer speak. I also told him how I had quit my job. That last part was something we had discussed before the pandemic anyway, so I could take care of our daughter, but with both of us working from home, we didn't think it was necessary. He told me I didn't need to do that, but I told him that I couldn't be around her anymore. I asked him what I had to do to make our marriage work, and he said that the marriage was working just fine. He wasn't planning on divorcing me, he wasn't planning on leaving me, and that we were fine. He said that he liked having me around, that I was the only person he'd ever been in love with, that we worked well together, and that he couldn't really raise our daughter on his own anyway. I have to say, I felt pretty over the moon about that, but I also knew that I couldn't let him think I was taking advantage of his forgiveness. I threw myself into being the best wife and mother I could be. I really think I started doting on him, and honestly, I realized that I wasn't treating him nearly as well as he deserved to have been treated. I cooked for him, I tried to look good for him, and I tried to be more affectionate. But that's when I noticed how different he was. He would only sleep with our daughter, never with me. He used to say he couldn't fall asleep without me, to the point where when he was away on his business trips, he would call me at night so I could talk to him as he fell asleep. He used to always kiss and hug me, but he stopped touching me completely. Whenever he was home, he would try to take me out on dates, but he completely stopped doing that too. He barely even spoke to me. I gave him time to deal with everything, but I couldn't take it anymore. I confronted him about a year ago, and he agreed to change his behavior. He started sleeping in bed with me again. He wouldn't hug or kiss me, but he wouldn't pull away when I tried to either. He took me out on a date for our anniversary, and he's already made plans for Valentine's Day this year. We even started having intimacy again. But somehow, it's so much worse now. When we have intimacy, he just lays there and doesn't